We're starting off high.
We can get
I
a
think
two fools agree on that one. Oh, by the way, look, we got the wide shot.
There was you had accountability. Now what I can
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
No, not even.
Where give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently there's a Foolproof page.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live at Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would
Trust a human to raise back wolves.
before I would trust a human to raise a wolf.
Right. I hear you. Yo, what up, fools? Welcome to another edition of Do Fools Agree. As always, I'm your host, Michael Reggie, here with my main man, Clifford Jordan Jennings.
Back, motherfuckers.
We back.
We back, motherfuckers.
Guess who's back? Who's back? Tell your friends. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
Two fat bitches lining outside,
around the outside.
I don't know, something like that.
It's something like that.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
trailer park girls go around the outside. Or
There
was
it
that
is,
just a clean
trailer
version?
hoes. It was trailer hoes.
Guess who's back? Oh man, how you been, man? Like it's not just that we haven't had a show in a month. We haven't talked in a month.
Right, it's been a while.
So anybody expecting any kind of structured conversation, put your seatbelt on, because I don't think it's that kind of show tonight.
I don't know myself how this is going to work out. But I mean, it's been an adventure, to say the least.
Yeah.
I had that little time in Florida. As beautiful as it was, I didn't have the most fun. I was sick when I was down there.
I thought you caught it on the way back.
I wasn't sick with COVID. No, I had like some stomach shit or something like that down there.
Bad water.
That's probably what it was, really. I probably ingested some seawater or something, and listen, it was a bad time.
Did Lil Mamas go with you? I can't remember.
She had a blast.
She had a good time?
Yeah, she had fun.
Well, that's awesome.
And then got COVID immediately.
The vid's back.
Immediately.
Dude, I've had to test for it like 6 times. So since I had a 2-week span where I didn't leave the office, and I mean weekends too. I got sick towards the end of last week. My body was finally like, nah, man, you done. I worked 27 straight days, something like that.
Yeah, y'all can suck my dick. I don't care if y'all paying me $1 million. Suck my dick. I'm not here for that.
So 27 days. And at the end of that, last Friday, I thought I had COVID. Couldn't breathe, stuffed up, congested. Took a test Friday, no COVID. Took a test this Monday, no COVID. Still felt like shit.
Right.
It's still sitting like right in this general region.
I know
right
exactly
here.
what you mean.
But,
feels like like you're juggling.
No, just what you just did.
I can't.
Exactly.
It's just now starting to come up, but
yeah. So, yeah. And I know I've talked about it on the show like a fair amount, and how I was heading into a crazy period of work. 27 days straight. We lost millions of dollars over the course of 4 days. Shit went to hell. And fortunately for me, it wasn't anything I was responsible for.
Right.
But I did get to have like I'm gonna call it my MJ moment of corporate America. Like, shit hit the fan. Monday, nothing came up. Thursday, we think we get live. and like everybody starts to relax a little bit, and then Friday morning shit hits the fan again, and like the entire system comes down again. And so I stepped up and I'm like, no, we are going to do these 3 things right now, and this is how we're going to communicate going forward, and this is how we're going to have linkage between all the teams. This is how we're going to inform people, blah, blah, blah. And I had a team or a room full of executives looking at me like, all right, yeah, that's what we're doing. So that was my one like MJ moment from all of that. And it lasted for about a week on that front, and now I'm kind of like, man, talk to IT. I'm done dealing with this.
Man, MJ got 6 rings though. What they giving you?
Well, let's see. We'll see. That should be coming up here shortly, so I'll let
Listen.
you know. That will not be discussed on the podcast. That'll be discussed offline.
I bet. The fuck all that.
I will say this though. I picked something up yesterday.
What you pick up?
And I haven't been able to, haven't had time to install it yet.
What'd you pick up?
Picked up an Xbox Series X, baby!
Did you?
Yes, sir. It's still sitting on the box. It's on my dining room table.
You gonna be mad at me.
You got a PlayStation?
I did.
You son of a bitch.
I did.
Traitor.
I did. And it was only for one game, really. It was just...
God of War?
No, it was for the 2K. It's just, I don't like...
That's a multi-platform game, Cliff. You did not get a PlayStation to play 2K. You can play 2K on Xbox One.
It was the people. You know what I'm saying? Like 2K on Xbox, let's put it like this. Even though you and there's some people that I know directly, like Aaron, that are on there, y'all aren't on there enough for me to be willing to purchase that.
So you did this for Malcolm's punk ass? You did this for Malcolm's punk ass? Is that what you're saying?
No, not just him. Not just him. He has, I will say that he has put together a decent squad of people.
Okay.
On his end, and as far as Xbox goes, all the people I play 2K with, which I play the most, I don't know you personally. You know what I'm saying? Like these are just people that I've grown to know over the years of playing Xbox.
Yeah.
And I prefer to deal with the people I know, you know, more than the people I don't. So was that my little brother was on there. I had some other people that was on PlayStation, and I was like, man,
fine.
I might as well.
I ended up picking up
the Xbox later.
I picked up the Series X because of the Bethesda's announcement. So Microsoft bought Bethesda, but that Starfield game, I think, is going to be a Series X exclusive. And I didn't want to wait for that game to come out to go try to find one, since they've been so hard to find. Although I was able to find the one I picked up. I had to drive to fucking Lancaster to get it, but I got it from Best Buy.
See, I didn't even get mine yet. I ordered mine on a pre-order, so mine's not even supposed to get here until I think the 23rd.
Gotcha. Nah, I get it, man. It's been crazy.
Yeah. So
we did all that. Let's see, what else? Oh, boy and I went camping with the fam.
For the Memorial Day or whatever?
Yeah, basically the repeat or the redo of Memorial Day, since we didn't book cabins for Memorial Day this year. My boy's a cornhole shark, dude.
He ain't no cornhole shark,
dude.
I'm gonna whip his ass when I see him.
I swear, this dude, he probably won 80% of the games he played.
He don't know how to airmail.
He's like, boom, buckets.
He don't know how to airmail. I'm an airmailer.
He was pissing off grown adults.
I'm not even touching the board, Andrew. It's going straight through.
I was disappointed because I bought something that's now in the backyard, but it wasn't here in time to go camping.
What was it? Darts?
No,
lawn darts?
Nope. Bigger. Think bigger.
A football?
No. Wait.
A javelin?
Not a javelin. Think more Viking.
Throwing axe.
Yes, sir. I've got a target and 2 axes.
I got a couple of hatchets over here I can sling around.
So I've got those in the backyard, which was very therapeutic when all this shit was going down at work. I went out in the backyard, just chucked a couple. Good times. There's a new fence.
Nordic motherfuckers out there throwing axes
well,
in the wrong neighborhood.
I got the beard, so I figured it was time to start throwing axes.
Listen, I don't think they know about throwing axes around there. They might throw something at you.
they might. Especially, I just needed to show the trap house behind me that I mean business.
Listen, that's what I'm telling you. Listen, you see this big 6'3" motherfucker throwing axes in the backyard.
Go ahead, try me.
Well, if you ain't throwing them back, you better at least come equipped. Is all I'm saying.
Right, exactly. Oh man,
this motherfucker weird. He won't get a gun, but he'll get some throwing axes around the backyard. Oh, weird ass nigga.
It's entertainment.
Man,
it's therapeutic
funny.
for me. Although I hear shooting's therapeutic. I've got
shooting's the most therapeutic.
One of my
it's expensive though.
That's the thing. And one of my directs at work's been trying to get me. He's got, I don't know. He's got some like. This dude's ex-military. He's got like explosives and shit. And he's like, come blow some shit up with me. And I'm like, all right, I will get around to it.
Yeah, it's definitely therapeutic. You'll fall in love immediately, but it is very.
I don't need another expensive hobby right now. All right,
expensive. Yeah, boxes of bullets are probably what. And then that's the crazy thing is they don't even give you 50 in a box anymore. It's only like 25.
Jesus.
Which will only fill up one clip, a clip and a half, depending on your gun. Mine it'll fill up 2.5. I got a 10 shot, but that 15 or that 20 bullets is running like 15 to 18.99. So, which is a little less than $1 a bullet, and we've been in the $1 a bullet for ARs and shit.
Yeah.
Since COVID hit the first time. What was that? 2020 even?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been $1 a bullet for that. So now we getting into $1 a bullet for your pistol too. You go to the range, you're gonna go through at least 200-300 rounds.
Right. You looking at
so at 25, what's that? 15 4 times. That's 60. 60 for your bullets alone. And that still seems a little cheap.
Right. I was thinking.
And then like 30 for your lane. So about $100 a session. But you know, Daddy Warbucks over there, that might not be expensive to him. He doing 27 days straight.
No, I mean, here's the thing: is that anything I seem to do with the kids seems to run me $100, $100 a clip too.
Right.
So. Shit, we went. What did we do yesterday? We went bowling, and I gave him like $20 to spend at the arcade. I'm pretty sure I didn't get out of that place for less than 100.
I bet.
So, I don't know.
Shit, I don't either.
All right,
I don't either.
So you got any inadvertence to get us started?
I do actually. I was wondering.
What you got?
This was today when I was making my breakfast. Does turkey bacon still come from the ass of a turkey?
It's a great question.
Because I would imagine the turkey's ass isn't big enough to get those full strips of bacon like they are for a pig. I would think that the strips would get smaller if you were really pulling it from a turkey's ass. And then how many turkeys would it take to get you a pack of turkey bacon?
Right. I almost feel like that's got to be breast meat. It's just processed to look like bacon.
Okay. No, that's different. That makes sense. Because I was about to say I'm buying it by 2s, 3s, and 4s. So how many turkeys did I just buy?
Yeah, because I kind of
how many turkey asses did I just buy with those 4 packs of turkey bacon? Gotta be 8 asses if it's real turkey ass.
I kind of feel like it's the same way with like turkey ribs, right? Like those aren't real turkey ribs. Like they took meat from like the breast area and like pounded it and turned it into ribs. Yeah.
Is that right?
Turkey rib
I'm not a
bones
big
can't
fan
be
of
that
turkey
big.
ribs, so I'm not too concerned about that. But
right. But I mean, you're also not a big pork guy either, so you don't eat ribs.
No, I don't eat regular ribs. I eat beef ribs. I eat beef ribs and shit, but I won't eat no regular ribs. Damn. Hold up real quick.
Oh no, where are you going?
Listen, my fan died on me.
Oh no. Man
I'm
down.
over here leaking.
That's why you wouldn't do well over here tonight, because the AC, I turned it on at like 5 p.m. And at some point it turned itself off.
Yeah, I hear you. It turned itself off.
Shut out the power.
This motherfucker cheap with utilities been working 27 days. Don't even run an air conditioner. That's how you get it.
That's right. I don't spend.
Mr. Burns over there.
Excellent.
Yeah, damn.
No, I got too many hands in my pockets is the problem.
I don't know that'll ever change, sir.
Yeah, I know. I'm not gonna say anything on it. I will just say, anybody who's out there thinking about a divorce, collaborative law ain't the way to go. We haven't had a meeting in 4 months. 4 months with no fucking action. That's all I'm gonna say on it.
Well, wait. I mean, but see, that's the thing. Because anybody who's thinking like Mike just said, skip the first thought of think about marriage.
Right.
Divorce.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
So we had a call come in, and during all of this bullshit that was going on at work, and the message was from one of our card holders who was upset because our authorizations weren't working or whatever, so he couldn't, like, he was out, he was supposed to be proposing, couldn't afford the ring. And I was like, just message him back and take it as a sign, bro.
Listen, we just saved you, bro.
This ain't the one.
You're saved.
Get out.
This ain't it for you. I'm telling you, this is rain on your wedding day, Atlantis.
So it looks like we got somebody in the chat asking if they can join. The number's on the screen. Go for it. Call us in.
Yeah, do that. I wouldn't mind.
All you got to do is go to Zoom, enter that code in your meeting invite, and you see the password. No links, though. I don't share links. All right. Any other inadvertent thoughts? I had one this afternoon, and now I'm blanking on what it was. It was, my son and I were watching this documentary. Watching one of the shark documentaries on, what was it? On Disney Plus. I think it was like the Maui Shark Mystery or something along that line. And I had a really bad feel for this woman who was like, she was like the person they were following. She was like a PhD student or something, and she had come up with like all these theories about like why they were seeing increase in shark attacks in Maui or whatever.
Right.
And there's one section of the documentary where for 10 minutes or almost for like half the documentary is her trying to put this tracker on a tiger shark. And so they're doing like these free dives with tiger sharks. And the last 5 minutes of the documentary, she goes and she gets the clip on the shark's dorsal fin, and then the shark snaps its tail, beats her ass in the ribs, and the tracker falls off.
That's what she gets. I don't feel sorry for you at all.
I'm not feeling sorry for her. Hold on. The last 2 minutes of the documentary, she's like, it's getting dark. I don't know what else to do. Like, I don't know that I can go back in there. She hands it to this girl who's with her, who hasn't practiced putting this fucking tag on a dorsal fin of a shark. Chick hits it in the first shot. Boom. Like 10 seconds. She swims down. She puts it on. I'm like, how does that feel to get sent in your own documentary and then have somebody else show you up? Like, that's gotta be rough.
Execs feel handing you off the IT.
Right. But it was one of those things where I was just like, that's cold. Like, what other, I'm trying to think, are there other documentaries like that where they spend the whole time following one person only to find out that they really weren't that good and someone else could do the job better? Like,
that you're a fucking fraud. I don't think that was what the documentary was about, but I mean, I think there's hella that.
Yeah.
There's hella documentaries about motherfuckers biting off more than they can chew, and those are the best documentaries, right? Because you didn't write them to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like watching a comedy show, a special, and the comedian's bombing.
Yeah.
It's like, that is beautiful to see.
Right.
Like, you are fucking up your own shit.
Your own
like
special.
the shit you were supposed to prepare for, you're fucking up. The material that you were meant to know backwards and forwards, you can't pull off.
Or it just doesn't land. Like
It's a beauty in that disaster that I enjoy.
No,
and I think that that's the same way. But at the same time, I feel like those fucking sharks didn't want nothing to do with y'all.
No.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just brought them into our world. Like,
right.
Like, they live free.
They trying to shark. Let a shark
right,
shark.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Fuck, that motherfucker may be in Maui, and then that motherfucker may swim to Antarctica. But because you chose to get your fucking nosy ass down there and put a fucking tracker on this bitch, now he can't live off the grid like it was meant for his species too.
The best part about that is that, like, the theory in terms of why they were seeing these shark attacks was that basically all across the
because there's a whole bunch of bitches down there jumping down, putting tags on shit, and they like, what's going on around here? Why these motherfuckers always trying to rub my back?
But they believed it's a mating thing, and what they found out was it had nothing to do, or they couldn't prove that it was a mating thing. What they did realize was that humpback whales go to the same area to raise their calves. And so the sharks were just looking for snacks. Right. You know, when it comes to sharks, it's food or fucking. It's one of the two. That's it.
And they down there chum blocking and shit. Right. Like, let me get to my fucking food, bitch. Like, you're down here giving me a back massage. And then I'm leaving with a fucking gift. Like, it's not like the oils are the only thing you rubbed on my back. Like, I got to leave here and you're going to know where I'm at for the rest of my fucking
Well, and on top
life.
of that, if the sharks are trying to, like, do the whole mating thing, You blowing up their spot. You putting big, shiny, flashy things on them. What female gonna let them get on
Maybe
there?
that's the chain. Maybe the sharks is like, ooh, you got that nice ass fin jewelry. Come get this shark butt.
By the way, we did get clarification.
Chum blockers, they need to be tagged themselves. Let me tag his stupid ass.
We did
10 times at that. Let me keep dropping it off of your back because I can't do it right. Then I'll send my newbie down there to get it done for me.
It should do it first try.
Right.
All right, so we got two things in the chat that I gotta hit. One, after that little spiel, Cliff, my mom's like, sounds like somebody I know. I don't know if she's talking about me or you. It might be both. I don't know.
Oh, but listen, I don't know. I take it.
And then Superfan making a clarifying statement. It's made from dark meat, talking about the turkey ribs. So it's not breast meat. So what's dark meat?
So okay, so explain to me something then, Miss Butcher, because I've never understood the difference between light and dark. I just thought
dark come from the ass.
Something that I just thought light meat was something that prissy people ordered because they didn't like the dark.
And the dark meat's always better.
I always give me the dark.
Right, no doubt. Give me
white
that thigh. Give me, agreed.
You know, like, give me the dark meat. Give me the fin of the shark.
You want the fin?
Give me the fin. That's where the good shit is. The shit that's hardest to get to usually is the best meat. Crab, legs. I'll take a leg over a breast. It has more flavor. You got to put the flavor in. I
take legs over breasts too. That's my preference.
Yeah,
no, we're still talking about meat. I'm sorry.
That's interesting. Huh? That's interesting.
What do you think about tits? I don't care about your tits. I was looking at your ass.
Like a whole bone tit.
I give them titties 4 thumbs down.
Listen, you keep coming around here during mating season, you might get tagged. That's all I'm saying.
Don't put no tags on me. All right. No tags, no trackers, none of that shit.
Listen, might be too late. Might be too late. Did I have another one?
I don't know. Did you?
I feel like I did, but I can't quite remember what it is.
You know, I told myself multiple times over the last like 3 weeks that I was gonna write shit down, and I didn't write shit down.
I don't know. I'm not writing. I'm not writing. Let's save a tree, save a life.
Well, I mean, I'm putting it in my phone.
Well, let's save some memory, save a phone.
There you go.
I don't care what nobody say. I'd much rather kill a tree than the memory in my phone. You know how many pieces of paper and notebooks and all kinds of shit that I write in on a daily basis?
Oh, no doubt.
I ain't saving shit in this phone.
there is all sorts of. I probably have 4 to 5 of your notebooks stashed around the house.
Listen, I'm a writer.
In boxes.
I'm a writer, not a
all
typer.
Sorts of shit. I'm a
writer. I'm Nas. I'm not Jay-Z.
I'm a writer, not a biter. We talking Nas and Jay-Z. I did pull up to the preschool day, or not preschool, but the day camp to pick up the kiddo today, bumping Warren G. Nobody does it better. You can come closer than close.
They like, this boy ain't gonna have no fucking chance.
Original, they never will be.
I know that's right there.
That shit's my jam. You go straight from that into Regulators. Oh my goodness!
I knew you was gonna say that, and
you thought I was gonna go that first, and I didn't.
Yeah, they can hear you playing that from a mile away. Say, white dude coming. White dude coming. He bumping Warren G Regulators. White dude's coming.
White dude. Definitely
He's
white
on
dude.
the way. That's fact.
Down up.
Oh man, you know what I will say is, out of all this COVID shit, and it did me in. I ain't gonna lie, it did me in. I mean, tell the truth, it was really just like a flu times 2.
Yeah.
But it did do me in. Like I remember laying on the bathroom or the bathtub without the water running, just for the cool feel on my body. You know, like get in the shower and just lay down for the cold on the bottom of the bathtub. And I remember falling asleep in the tub a few times. So I definitely was going through it. But I feel like the worst thing out of all of it is I didn't lose my taste or my smell. It was actually worse because it got better and the smells would make me sick.
Ooh.
Like I would smell shit around me and I was like a pregnant woman. Like, oh my gosh, like I can't I'm getting nauseous smelling that. And couldn't get away from it. But the worst issue was my taste buds changed.
Okay, so it wasn't that you lost taste, but you had like a different sensation.
It's like everything I eat has a iron taste to it. Like there's blood in my mouth or something.
Like swollen taste buds or something.
Yeah, like shit I love. It's like I'm really starting to hate the taste of it. And it's like, but you're not tasting it the way it should be. So I don't know if I come out of this and I still like half the shit that I like.
Well, you don't eat much to begin with.
Right.
Cliff's going to move to a liquid diet after all this.
Listen.
You're going to drink his shit.
If you didn't gain weight like that, I would.
Right. I ended up, that was one thing that, like, during that month period, I was not eating right. So the first 2 weeks when we were in the office, they were feeding us, which was not great just because.
Yeah, they order that bullshit.
I mean, they actually.
And bullshit like that.
Yeah, I mean, we got like Panera sandwiches, shit like that.
Oh, that's not bad. I don't mind Panera.
But the thing is that it was readily available, and I've been used to being in an environment where, like, if I want to eat, I have to stop and actually make something to eat.
Right.
Which means typically I eat less. So having that shit available, I reverted to bad habits. I was eating too much. And then the week where I started transitioning to working from home again a little bit, even though I was still on calls, 10, 12 hours a day, I started doing those, Athletic Greens. It's one of those, like, one of the advertisers been on a bunch of the podcasts and shit, and one of them had, like, a deal on, like, a year's supply or whatever, so I did that shit. And, I tell you what.
You better watch, because you do that liquid shit, and then you get back to eating regular, and you put on weight.
No, and I'm with you, but for me, it was more about, like, I was getting to the point where I was sustaining on, I mean, I'm pretty sure my bloodstream was 60% Diet Pepsi, 40% Baja Blast Zero. Baja Blast. Did you know they had a Baja Blast Zero?
No, I did not. And are we sure that you was eating Panera and not Taco Bell?
No, that's what I'm saying. I found they sold like
they
2
don't
weeks
got diet quesadillas over there.
They do not. They don't. But like 2 weeks in or whatever, that second and a half week, went to go get another round of Diet Pepsi. I'm like, I cannot drink any more Diet Pepsi, that's my vice or whatever. And they had Baja Blast. They had Diet Baja Blast. I'm like, I didn't think they sold this shit anywhere but Taco Bell.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if you was eating Panera now.
Oh, that does bring up something as I take another sip. Past 1 year, dude.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up.
And what was the sweetest thing about it was X tried to make some noise about when we were going camping or whatever. She's like, well, you're going to be drinking and all this. I'm like, I haven't had a drink in almost a year now. And just to be able to see the look on her face when I said that, I was like, oh, that's right. That's right. Shut up. But
my whole thing is like
clip past what I wanted to. I'm not opposed to it anymore. I made it to my mark. That was my mark.
Right. My whole thing is like, and I don't know, this might be ill to say, but like it's a part of me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a part of me. Like I'm not big on the liquor so much.
Well,
but as far as me having some beer, that's a part of me. And I wish a motherfucker would try to be like, well, you're going to be, bitch, so what? Like, right. And I was the whole time we were together. You knew me. When has that ever stopped me from doing anything? Like, I could see if I was a brown paper bag motherfucker, you know, that was drinking so much I couldn't be on. But there's never been an issue from my drinking outside of that OMVI that I got. And that was my, 23rd birthday?
Something like that. That's about when I had mine too, like at 22.
And beyond that is even with that situation, there were some details to that I don't divulge.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have happened without those details taking place.
No, I get it. Man.
Officer involved issues. But if I'm being honest, I felt like that was the only play I had at the moment.
Yeah.
So, might not have been thinking with my right mind, but even in my sober mind, I guarantee I probably would have made the same decision.
Choice, same decision. No, I get that. Well, that was my thing. Like, one day, it caused a problem for me. And honestly, to your point, there were a lot of mitigating circumstances that day that very few people know about. So, like, it is what it is. And you know what? My whole point was if I could go through this year in particular, going through a divorce, going through new custody schedules, going through this fucking month of work that I did and not really want to drink or not really need a drink or anything like that, it ain't a problem.
This is the breakthrough, though, right? Because this is, I mean, essentially it is. Like, this is the breakthrough because it's like, you know, I don't know how religious a lot of people are out there in the chat. Let me pull back a bit because I wouldn't quite say that I'm religious either.
Right. It's the whole spiritual, not religious.
I'm definitely spiritual, not so much religious, just because I feel like religion has killed more than anything else in the world.
Absolutely.
So where's the line? You know, where's the happy balance of this is good for us or this is causing turmoil in the world?
Yeah, more people have been killed in the name of God or whatever God.
Right. Than anything else. And that's a wicked stat, right?
Right.
But I say that to say that higher power, God, whatever you want to call it, they do, if you believe in them, they do put you through circumstances to test you.
Yeah.
Before you get the reward.
Right.
Because you can't have the reward if you're not prepared to have it, right? And a lot of times when you get put through back-to-back situations, whether you put yourself in that situation or life did, it's usually in preparation for your next chapter.
Oh, no doubt. Like it's funny. I saw it was a TikTok earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday, that was like, be careful of the ones that have gone through the most shit and are still here. They're the dangerous ones.
Listen.
And then the other one that I saw that was in the same vein was, be careful of the one that says it is what it is to any kind of situation, because they've already accepted it.
Right.
And they don't care.
Right.
Like, they're not sweating it.
I don't like that though. I mean, I like that. I like those. I feel like those are both accurate. I just don't like it because I feel like I fall into both categories.
Right.
And that's not always a good thing. It is when it comes to resilience, but it's not always a good thing, because at some point you have to reflect and say how much of that was self-inflicted.
Right. Well, and on top of that, like, what bonds people most? Shared trauma? Shared trauma bonds people. People that have been through similar shit tend to gravitate towards one another.
That is the truth, man. That's a fucked up truth. I don't know, but I like it though. I mean, and that is the truth. That is the truth. You don't ever want to deal with somebody that's already accepted where shit could possibly go.
Right. Absolutely.
I knew what this was before we stepped into this situation, and I've already accepted where this could go.
Where it could, right.
And then you got to imagine what position is that person in specifically that they're willing to accept that over succeeding.
Yep. And it was funny because I think the context of that particular TikTok was probably relationships or some point. Like, if you leave someone and you ask them after the fact, like, well, do you miss me? And their response is, it is what it is. You already have your answer. The answer is no.
Well, I don't know, because that's cryptic. When a motherfucker says it is what it is, what that really tells me is that you're still struggling with it.
Nah, see,
you're just not willing to say the actual words. Because if a motherfucker says hell no, then I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Okay. But you like, it is what it is. You're still dealing with it. Is what it is. I just don't know if I should pry back into that situation.
Well, it also, I mean, I could go both ways with that. I could say that it is what it is like acknowledgement of what the situation is, and I don't care enough to give you a response. Hell no almost sounds like you trying to be hurtful, you trying to do something with it. You know what I mean? Like, so I could read both of those both ways. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Let's move on. What we got?
Listen, or is it?
Is it?
But I don't know. But in regards to your TikToks, my favorite ones that I've been binging on recently are the I used to protect him, but now he protects me TikToks.
Okay.
I love those. I like, they just get me so fucking hyped. Like, whether it's like a son, like it's usually a dad and his son raising his son, and then his son's grown up and he's like a fucking dog, like jacked and shit. And it's like, I used to protect him, now he protects me. Or it'll be like a puppy. Yep. And then it shows the dog grown, like, and it's like, those videos they get my blood pumping.
I hear you. Way. I like that. My my other personal favorite ones are the ones that say, if you don't want to see a 40-year-old mom in a bikini, swipe now. Bring all the 40-year-old moms to me.
Listen, run it on a loop.
Snoop a loop. Bring your green hat. We're going
right. That's funny.
Can't lose our composure.
That is funny.
Snoop a loop.
Man, what else? It was it's one other dude, I can't think of his name. He's hilarious to me.
The one that gets me on that for the dudes is story time. And he just tells like the most. He told one.
You on old TikTok?
I am. I'm on old TikTok, swing talk, and dirty old man TikTok.
Listen, I'm not even on TikTok. I don't even got the TikTok. I just, how they put them on YouTube now.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off because I be like, some of them I be wanting to like and shit. And it'd be like, log into TikTok if you want to like this video. And I'm like, God damn, why you got it on YouTube if I can't do it here? Just poke a thumb. Damn. What happened to whoever was supposed to be hopping on?
I don't know. They said, can they join? I gave that little speech and they walked away. They never joined. Okay. Or if they did, I missed them sitting in the waiting room, which is equally possible.
Oh no. Well, if you did and you still watching, that wasn't
that wasn't intentional. It's just been a minute since we talked.
Listen. Motherfuckers fall into
you seen
a conversation.
So, actually, something that happened while we were gone that we haven't talked about.
What?
And I don't know if I want to take the conversation here, but given the crazy work schedule, I found out about this about 3 days after the fact. Roe versus Wade.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that shit's wild, man. I ain't even gonna stunt. That's wild.
Here's my biggest issue with it. I'm single right now.
You stupid. And don't nobody want none of your little bastards. No, I'm just playing.
No, that's the problem. I worry that they all do.
It's crazy. Well, listen, that's always everybody's worry.
No, I think I've got pretty good judge of character almost. But to the point, anybody knew that's a fear, right?
It's a fear in general. They say don't judge a book by its cover for a reason, motherfucker.
That's true.
And it's usually the ones that know how to put on a good
show.
Hardback that'll open it up to a Harry Potter situation. Right. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's even that's tough. You feel what I'm saying? I was at a point where I was like, yeah, I feel like I got a good judge of character, and I feel like that track record has held true for the most part. But I'm not saying that I'm willing to place my chips down on this roulette table every fucking bet. Like I'll pass on this one.
Yep. No, I get that. And I'm with you. I think the point on all that for me was I put in my profile, like, I'll drive you to Indiana or Pennsylvania. Because Ohio followed up with, like, the heartbeat bill, didn't they?
I don't know. Listen, don't get me into the whole legalities. I don't know what. I just know that the shit happened. My jaw dropped. But then I thought immediately, I hate that it always ends up falling on women.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
But better something like this than a lot of the other things. Because if they was willing to reverse this, then it's like, I understand why people go back to, well, what you going to take away rights for minorities and shit like that? Like, because that was a progression that took place.
I think the difference between those things, though, is that with it being an amendment and to the Constitution versus it being like a Supreme Court decision, the problem is that was never law. It was precedent. So people could challenge things on the basis of that, but it was never written into law. And that's the big argument the liberals are making right now in general is, all right, well then let's make it a law. Like let's make it federal law. Let's put it in the Constitution, whatever. Make an amendment. Problem is you'll never have the support to get it to that level. So it is going to fall to the states. And that's the bigger issue with it is that...
Right. Every state doesn't abide by...
the majority of states actually vote the other way. Like... So... I don't know. I think it is. I don't know that it's a. I think it's bad because you've put that power back on the states, and that is problematic based on where our political spectrum is right now.
I mean, it's bad because of all the inclusion.
Right.
That's very simply, that's why it's bad. Motherfuckers don't need you. It goes back to clipping you're clipping sharks at this point.
Yeah.
I don't need you in my business.
No.
Motherfuckers don't need you involved in everything. The government's involved in everything.
It's involved
your birth,
in too much.
Your death, your marriage, whether you choose to be single. They're involved in everything. And this is just one of those things where it's very simply not your business. It's none of your business. And now you're trying to include yourself in the business.
Right.
And it's another overstep. Right now, to be quite frank, I don't think that this country is in a place where they can keep overstepping at the moment.
Yeah. No, I'm with
We're
you.
not, this isn't a regular American lifestyle currently. This is, like we talked about, to use lack of a better term, this is the Great Awakening.
Yep.
This is where kids are looking at their paychecks and they're like, why is that and that and that why is that taken out? Oh, that's your 401k. But what is a 401k? Oh, so you're telling me there's not a guarantee I get this money? Well, why are you taking it out?
Right.
This is where they're starting to ask questions that should have been asked far long ago. And now we're getting to a point where it's starting to feel claustrophobic in a sense.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
People are either walking on eggshells or ready for change, and I think we are at we are still at a tipping point at this point. And some of it even goes back to what we talked about, like utopia or dystopia.
Right.
We're on the pivot point. We could go either way right now.
Well, the reason why I use the word claustrophobic though is because everybody knows a cornered cat is just as dangerous as a lion.
Right.
And when you're getting to a point when you're backing people up, especially with a decision like this, it's like, oh, now I know what's up.
Right.
The next thing that goes over that top is going to be dangerous, because what you definitely did is you got all the women in line to where, oh, we fighting. You know what I'm saying? We fighting. So now what the funny thing about that is when the men want to fight, or the men wanted to fight and you weren't quite on board,
right,
now you don't speak up. Now you don't speak up. And it may not even be that you're fighting for the same issues, but you're just glad that somebody's willing to fight.
Well, it goes back to,
fight.
I know we talked about religion in terms of, you know, the life toll and all of that. Ancient times, why did people go to war? Because the women told them to.
Right. I mean, that's I was just about to say the women saved the men throughout. That's why Leonidas in 300 looked back at his wife before he kicked that motherfucker down that hole. Because you know I'm, as a man, built to do dumb shit. So I want you to let me know, am I in my right mind right now? All right. Well, motherfuckers is getting kicked. And I think that we're getting closer and closer to a point where it may be the government on the other side of that hole.
Right. Well, I think, I don't know. Here's
Can't keep clipping sharks.
Right. And we are getting to the point where, I mean, shit, we are, 2 years out from another major election. Not that it matters, but
right,
you could see that tipping point again.
Well, I don't know, because now I feel like even conservatives are like, does it matter? You know what I'm saying? Like, right, even they're like, does it matter at this point? Like, I don't think you have that same sort of devotion.
You don't think there's that fervor that there was there for Trump?
Right.
I mean, what if he's back in the race, though? Do conservatives rally around him again? Like right now, the conservatives. I don't know,
but let's be honest. Let's flip the question back on liberals. Who gives a fuck? Well, like at this point, who gives a fuck? Because we got what we wanted, right?
Did we?
well, so-called. It swayed back blue is what I'm saying by putting the Biden and a Kamala in there. I'm not necessarily saying that's the hero we wanted,
right.
but those are definitely the
but
heroes
it's the hero we deserve.
Right. So now that it's swayed back in the blue and we're seeing that doesn't really fucking matter, who gives a fuck if Trump comes back?
Right.
May need him to shake some shit up at this point.
Yeah. Well, and that's going to be, yeah, I hear you.
Who gives a fuck? Like at the end of, and I know I've been saying that's been my sentiment since we started this.
Right.
But now more than ever, it's like, well, you know why I don't give a fuck. Now I'm starting to question why you would either. Why would you?
Right.
What's changed for you?
Right. You saw this happen under Democratic Watch. You saw this happen under, yeah. And I mean, you know, the whole, I don't know, there's a lot of things around gas prices too.
I mean, but that's bread, you know what I'm saying? Like we may be the high, but it's always going to be a little higher than it was before, right?
Yeah,
like
no
look
doubt.
at inflation on groceries. Motherfuckers are tripping about gas prices. Fuck the car. I need to live.
Right.
I need to fill my tank. And if I can't afford to fill my tank, you think I give a fuck about an $8 a gallon gas price?
Yep. I wonder if there is correlation there, that if that is a supply and demand issue, meaning people aren't driving as much, and so they feel like they can charge whatever they want.
Right. They got to continue making those profits. We got to hit that baseline yearly and yearly. But now that work from home shit happened, that makes it a lot harder for us.
People are driving a lot less, and so we've got to make our profit. Like, I'm sure
let's create a crisis.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, I know that the relations with other countries haven't been the best either, but I would imagine it would all balance out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With the fact that we don't drive as much anymore either.
Right.
It would seem that you could make the same profits, they just won't be at the same margins.
Right.
Now it's just going to be a little slower for you, and you're going to have to understand that's the new norm.
Yep. But no, what ends up happening is it all falls to the consumer, and the consumer is the one that has to adapt to a new norm of not having enough money and not having enough to what their paycheck doesn't go as far as it used to. And the whole argument, you know, that we get from Gen X and from all of that is like their ideals around don't buy a house that is more than, what is it, like 2.5 times your annual salary. I can't buy a house for 2.5 times my annual salary in the places where I
listen. I must have missed that in my stepdad's episode because I didn't know nothing about that saying or whatever the case may be.
The other way to look at it is like a quarter of your monthly paycheck if you're renting. Like expect 25% of your pay to go towards rent or towards mortgage payment.
Okay, I see.
But either way, like apartments are renting for like $1,500 for a 1-bedroom in Columbus, Ohio. That's people that are renting apartments. That's not 25% of their check.
Right. Shit, I don't. Well, no, I'm lying. Gross.
Maybe not net, but gross.
Right. Oh shit! Damn, that's funny as fuck.
Rita getting political on the chat. The real power is appointment of Supreme Court justices. True, which
that is
why,
the truth.
But there's nothing stopping us from packing the Supreme Court. You could appoint additional justices without replacing anyone. That's allowed. Gas prices are driven up by those with a dog in the electric car fight. Can't sell electric cars when gas is cheap. That's actually not a bad point either. Reet's dropping truth bombs out here in the chat tonight.
No, that is the truth.
Is it though? Like how much does Exxon have in the electric car race? I don't know. Well,
it's the same. It's the same. It's the whole Polaroid situation, right? Where Polaroid had a dude that had a patent for the first digital camera. And they got it just to get rid of it because they didn't want the film industry to go out.
Yeah.
And now look at us.
Right.
You don't even need a digital camera. Your phone is that.
Yep. That's true.
And it's like you missed out on that, right? Because you were fighting the wave.
Well, it was the whole thing with Blockbuster and Netflix. Like, except Blockbuster didn't make the right call.
Right.
Blockbuster could have bought Netflix when it was an infant and chose not to. And you see how that one turned out.
You know what's interesting to me is the fact that I would have thought, and I don't know, maybe there is somebody on the back end, but I would have thought that you would have had a major, oil industry hop in on that electric car movement of their own. Like, I would have thought that you'd have had somebody out of all of them that would have thought ahead and been like, well, let's start working on one.
Well, it's not even that they would work on electric cars per se. It's that they would work on electric fuel stations. Like, start incorporating electric pumps or electric fast charge stations into existing gas stations.
That's interesting.
The problem is I don't know margin, like, I'd be curious on that, like margin of a gas station.
But I don't think it would be that big. I don't think that the company would be taking that big of a hit, right? Because not only could you charge for your electricity, you could also charge for the rate that you receive it.
True.
So I can essentially put whatever price I want to put on this as long as I'm providing you with a good product in your charge.
Right. Right. Well, and I think about the whole electric game like, okay, so do the solar panels on the roof, get an electric car. At that point, like, what are your expenses at that point?
Right, that's where the issue comes. Right. Because where there's electric, there's modification.
Yeah.
You're already seeing it. I saw a video on TikTok the other day of a dude with he had an Acura. I can't remember what kind of Acura it was. He gutted the Tesla and put the Tesla shit in his Acura to where his Acura was running electric on the Tesla system design.
Yeah.
And it's like when you start incorporating electricity, you do have people that have more knowledge in some cases than the people making their shit.
Yeah.
That's gonna redo it. There was a dude that when Tesla first came out that built his own Tesla engine, but it wouldn't work because he had to have a specific key, a Tesla key, in order for his car to work, and they didn't make one for his model, so they were saying they wouldn't give him one.
Gotcha.
Few years later, he got one.
Yeah.
Because that's how it works. Once it's available to the public, there are going to be extras. There's going to be people that know, I know you need that.
Aftermarket at that point.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to get that for you. Well, now you got 3D printers and shit. That changes the game.
Yeah.
That takes the money back, essentially.
Well, it all comes back to the means of production. And once you commoditize the means of production, that's why you see the gig economy. That's why you see the content creation economy. Is because you've commoditized the means of production. You can get, like us, you can get webcams, microphones, all that shit set up and become content creators. Whereas 20 years ago, you couldn't do that and you couldn't reach an audience.
But it's interesting, right? But no, I guess that doesn't make, yeah. No, yeah, that's absolutely correct. That kills the trend, though.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily kill the trend, but what it does is it kills the trend time. You know what I'm saying?
Say more.
Because what you had back in the day, and this is just to use it as an analogy, like fashion clothes. Clothes would come from north to south. So it might be popping here, old news up there.
Yep.
Then it might go down south and be popping down there. We had already been on that up here. But now that you have that connection to everyone, those trends happen instantly to the point that, oh, you missed that? That's over. And you should have known that because you're connected to the system.
Well, and it's to your point, yeah, it escalates the speed with which trends travel. So I get
right. Even when there were pictures back in the day, we don't know how fast and how far that picture traveled for them to know we was on that Jerbo wave.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, music used to be the same way too. It used to be pretty regional, and then advent of digital music, like, yeah, you had the Billboard Top 100 or whatever, but more regional music. Now it's all kind of meshed and is all the same sound because it's all universal at this point.
Right. I think that's why you get so many underground artists.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day, and I'm not trying to take anything from, nowadays. I do think that there is a skill to what you're doing, but it's completely different. And I'm not mad at it than the way it originated on the block, in New York back, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's supposed to evolve, right? But what has happened with the connection of us all is now the underground artist is being mixed in with the guy who had honed his craft for 15 years before he got a deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can hear the differences in the music, but right now what it is the children like the less effort sound over the...
It's because it's all started to like homogenize. Like, because again of those universal trends, there's not a lot of unique sound anymore. Like, each genre still has its own sound, but within that genre, a lot of the shit sounds the same.
Right.
Whereas, ideal state would have been that, you heard a lot of unique voices. Unfortunately, that's not the way things work, because people see a trend, they jump on board, they're all making the same shit that sounds the same.
No, that's right. But maybe I'm wrong in my hypothesis. Maybe trends last a little longer depending on the trend.
Yeah, I don't know. Now, I'll say this, doesn't mean I won't bump a Lil Nas X song because shit just sounds good to me.
Sometimes, sometimes, listen, that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother conversation.
A-Reg is a big fan of just the music and the sound there, and I'm just like,
I
hated it at first, and I'm like, you know what? No, this is all right. There's
absolutely nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
And some of his shit is,
call me what you want, call me when you need.
What's the word I'm looking for? It's non-gender specific.
Yeah. And honestly, whatever. If it sounds good, it sounds good. It doesn't. The lyrics, yes, but to the point, lyrics don't matter as much as they used to.
Now, with that being said, I'm also not listening to that in my car.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
You're not bumping that alone, is what you're saying.
No, I'm not. Even if my child is with me and they request that song, that's a home song.
That one stays at home.
That's not a car song. All right. So we can hear that when we get back. But right now, we listening to this. You hear what I'm saying?
Right.
Because the bottom line is, as much as I hate to say it, right, it's ignorant how people's minds work. Because the trend or the goal is for everyone to be comfortable with everything.
Yep.
But the judgment has never been more high.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
I do.
Motherfuckers may have said bad words back in the day. No, I'm lying, because the judgment may have even been higher back then. But it's ironic that you can see people who were unconfirmed homophobic.
Right.
Say things, and then now you're in the era where it's supposed to be normal, and you hear the same people fighting for the equality saying some weird shit. Like, well, that's the same thing they were saying. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Eminem said that shit 20 years ago.
Listen, I don't know what's going on.
And you all called him homophobic.
Right. And it's like, well, how can you be
from Connecticut,
homosexual and homophobic at the same time? Look around, you'll find it. That's all I'm saying is you'll find it.
Malk chiming in the chat, talking about platforms. I'm sure that was in regards to kind of the distribution channel thing.
Wait. Distribution channel thing. What were we talking about?
That was the whole, like, the fact that the means of production, right? You have platforms now for those content creation, things like that.
It's this little fucking or fly or something. Got him. I'm so swift, it don't make sense like this.
Damn.
So swift, it don't make sense. I should have killed him, but
Miyagi-san.
Next time he's going down.
Maybe he learned his lesson.
No, he didn't. He's still fucking with me. Find another room, motherfucker. What are we talking about? I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I'm just fast as shit.
I'm switching gears anyways.
I wasted my talents.
What are you watch anything recently? There's been a bunch of shit that dropped.
Man, I think Stranger Things lost me.
Did they?
I do.
I fell off a little bit in the middle, but the beginning and the end were pretty solid.
I don't know, man. If I'm being honest, because I was excited for the July 1st release. I was excited when that came out, and I watched it. Don't remember much that happened, though.
No.
I just don't remember. Like, it just didn't stick with me enough for me to remember anything.
And the thing is that, like, I don't know. I liked that the finale was like 2.5 hours, like it was its own movie.
That did stick with me. I was wondering, like, this is a movie.
I wish more shows would do that.
Right.
In terms of build it up, and then basically finish with a movie. Like, I wish Game of Thrones had done that. I wish any of the Star Wars series would do that.
Right.
But that was
Would that be...
Go ahead.
Go ahead, what were you saying?
No, I was going to say that was the other one that, like, I don't think we talked about it much because I think we were off for most of that time, but Kenobi was I enjoyed it, but it was a little disappointed. That? Obi-Wan. So there was an Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
I still don't have the fucking Disney Plus. It's so I bet I could. That's what I should have had when I had COVID. I should have asked for Disney Plus and just binged everything on there. Cause I was looking for shit to do. That sounds like, now that I'm getting older,
yeah,
and my palate is maturing, I am up for more different shit than before.
Have you watched, and I don't think we talked about it either, the new season of Orville?
Lost me too.
See, and I worried that it would because they went too Star Trek with it for you.
It's weird now.
They don't have the humor isn't there. They cut the humor like weird. Completely out, and it's just Star Trek now. Like, it was always like borderline Star Trek, but it was like a funny version of Star Trek.
Right.
More like Galaxy Quest kind of Star Trek, and this they've gone full Star Trek on it, which I enjoy personally. But for that show and for Seth MacFarlane, like,
it's not what I thought it was. Like, it's like what? Okay, so here's what I think what drew me to it is the comedy of it all adds like a family vibe, almost like camaraderie-ish,
a realness to it. Like, in my mind, that's what it was. Is that, like, this wasn't some ship of explorers or warriors or like whatever. Like,
right.
They were part of like a delivery fleet or something.
Right.
And now they're like part of, and now they're part
of
of like a military unit or an exploration unit, and it's like
it's
that
robotic.
Wasn't what it was. Yeah, it's. I mean, again,
it's robotic
Star Trek.
now.
It has become Star Trek. Like,
and if
you need
anybody knows anything about me, I'll get the job done, but I'll get it done my way.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not gonna be nothing I do that's gonna be robotic. I don't know. That's a lie. That's a lie.
Because you're real.
That's a bold-faced fucking lie. Because I do fall into regiment systems. Like things have to be a certain down to the path that I take on my daily journey. So I can't say that.
Yeah. But still, like, Orville was great because it differentiated itself from Star Trek. Now it is just a carbon copy. Which part of me thinks that was always Seth MacFarlane's like game, and that Hulu said go for it, do what you want, and I don't think they're going to get another season because I think they will lose most people. I think that show developed a following because it was Star Trek and comedy together.
He went from Family Guy to 1,000 Ways to Die in the West.
Right.
Where you tried to do something different, and I commend you for it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Because why not watch the best, right? Like if you're making an imitation of Star Trek, then I'll just watch Star Trek. They just been releasing shit on Disney Plus. I'll watch that.
Right. Right. No, it's all over. Star Trek's all over Paramount Plus right now, and the new Star Trek series is actually the first thing Paramount Plus has done, because they've done like 3 or 4 series already. But the one that they've got going right now is the first one that feels like Star Trek again, which is, for me, it's awesome because it's like, okay, this is what I remember watching growing up versus a lot of the Star Trek has been more action-adventure type stuff than true sci-fi. And that's the thing, is that I think there's a place for the genres or for that genre to expand. So I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see them doing other stuff, but
what's the difference? What's the difference between action, adventure, and sci-fi?
Sci-fi is more rooted in reality, and it is more like, so science fiction, you focus more on like the science, the politics, that side of things. Action adventure is more like, oh, there's a big bad guy that we're trying to stop, and whatever, or we're at war or something like that. And that's not to say like there haven't been elements of that in the Star Treks, but like most of the Star Trek series that Paramount Plus has rebooted have been more action adventure than sci-fi. Like
I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. No, that was just the statement. I didn't have anything else.
I guess I always kind of equated it all to the only difference between action adventure and sci-fi is that you had a outer space, like galactical type of protagonist.
Yeah, and see, I disagree on that front. Like, I wouldn't call, like, in that mindset, then the Marvel movies are sci-fi, and they're not. Those are action adventure movies.
I see why you say that. I see exactly why you say that. See,
sci-fi
I'm thinking like Independence Day, and it's like, that's sci-fi, right?
No, that's action adventure big time.
That makes sense from your explanation.
No,
but I view that as sci-fi just because it's an alien.
Yeah,
like,
I hear you. And I think on top of that, like when I'm thinking sci-fi, it's things. Even Dune. Dune's not sci-fi. Dune is, I would call, fantasy.
Really?
Yeah, Dune is more fantasy. Same way Star Wars. Star Wars is more fantasy than it is sci-fi. Like, yes, it's in space, but you still have like wizards and a single hero, and things like that. Like that's classic myth. That's fantasy. That's based on like Greek and Roman myths of the demigod heroes like Hercules, like Achilles. Like, it's those types of things where you have the young boy or the young woman who goes and meets the older mentor who trains them in mysterious ways. Like, that's fantasy. That's samurai. more than it is sci-fi. Sci-fi
But
is
samurai's not fantasy. That was very much real shit.
completely agree with you. But what I'm saying is that fantasy has closer ties to like samurai films than it would to science fiction films.
I have heard that.
And that's actually why, like, Star Wars, what George Lucas did with Star Wars,
It was
like based on westerns.
Samurai.
It was based on samurai. It was based on.
I can see exactly why you say that.
So, and Dune, from a storyline perspective, is very similar. Like, you have this mystical force in spice. You're getting trained by the people out in the desert. You become a nomad in the desert. You come back a great warrior. Like, that's samurais or westerns.
Right. I should have been a cowboy.
I should have been a cowboy.
That's what I should have been. I should have been a cowboy.
I think that would have worked for you.
I think so too. And I would have been an outlaw, but I wouldn't have been like one of them outlaws. I'd have just been an outlaw because I do what the fuck I want to do. Not because I want to hurt or take from. But nobody's going to stop me from doing what I want to do. So if you're going to lump me in with them because of that, then I'm an outlaw.
Yeah. Superfan chiming in the chat with, she'd say sci-fi leans more into the cerebral. And I'd agree with that. Like, something like Arrival.
Or
even some time travel movies. Like, time travel movies are probably more akin to sci-fi.
But I feel like that you could throw a Constantine in there.
True.
And I don't consider that sci-fi at all.
I would say that's back to fantasy or action adventure. It's fantasy because it's supernatural. The whole point with science fiction is that it's grounded, and true science fiction is more intellectual in the sense that, like, again, going back to Star Trek, it's if we manage to unify as a people, here's where we would go next, and here's how technology would take us there. Like, Star Trek has always had a little action adventure in it, but that was never the prime focus of it. It was more like, here's this problem, here's how we work to solve this problem, here's the resolution, here's the outcome. Whereas, like, an action adventure is, here's your big baddie, go fight him. You have.
I had something to say.
What you got?
I don't know. I can't remember because I reached with my wrong arm and it hurt my shoulder. Now it took my whole thought out of my mind.
Just ripped your thoughts right out.
It did. That shit hurt, and I'm pissed. I'm pissed off more at that gnat than I am at myself. But I hurt. I hurt myself.
That's not good, man.
That's not even right.
So did you watch anything else? I mean, I went and saw, what did I see? I saw Top Gun Maverick. I think we talked about that right before on our last show. That was good.
Yeah.
Did you make it out to see Maverick?
No, I did not.
I'm sure it'll be out.
I did not.
I'm sure it'll be out on Paramount Plus soon. It's got to be wrapping up. Although, it is going to be probably one of the highest grossing films in forever because it is still in theaters.
White people national shit.
I mean,
that's what that is.
Here's the thing, though, is there's really not any, like, political tones in it at all. Like, it is very much, like...
I'm sure, but we know what it was built on.
I get it.
I feel like they did all that in the first one, so we don't have to... People who's going to watch this already know what we about.
I hear you. And I think what's interesting with it is that, like, they don't ever say who, like, the target is. Like, they deliberately never say
pussy.
The country.
That's
like,
pussy.
It's clearly Russia, right? Like, we're talking about Russia here.
Or China, or North Korea.
No, it's definitely...
Put a name on it.
It's definitely whites, so it's definitely Russia.
Okay. Put a name on it. Like, keep it a buck.
Right. But I think they did that to specifically not get political. Which is interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
And then I also saw the new Jurassic World.
I'm starting to look at the country as a real domestic violence situation.
Oh, yeah?
Like, we'll beat on y'all. But you think we're going to touch them? You think we're going to do anything with them? No. We don't do that. We beat on y'all around here. That's how I'm starting to feel. I feel like, at least growing up, it seemed like the United States of America was the bouncer of the world.
Right. America. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. Now it's not, I'm not
it.
feeling it. I'm not feeling it. It feels like I said, like I don't know if it's generationally, motherfuckers got softer as we went, and you just got to, we still have to exert our authority, so we'll do it on you.
Well, here's the thing, is that if the U.S. had decided to get directly involved in the Russian-Ukraine conflict, I actually think from a nationalist perspective, in terms of building like national pride, actually would have been a smart move.
You think?
Yeah. Now, long-term ramifications.
Well, yeah, of course, because it's whites on whites.
Right. We're not
it's whites on whites, right? So it's like, of course, you get that the pride factor comes back in, but I'm looking at all the, like, you look at all the other shit that slid for so many years.
Right.
And it's like, it's either a very evident situation that a lot don't have the complexion for the protection, or deep down you cool with that shit.
Right.
Like, I'm cool with that. That didn't bother me. We're good. We're good there. But let Putin come through and invade Ukraine. Now are we on our toes? Should we? But I feel like that's even more pussy, because it's like, these is y'all's people, right?
Right.
What? Y'all just gonna let them get jumped and y'all ain't going?
The thing is the answer there is they're not our people, because they didn't join NATO.
But it's a lot of brown countries that join NATO that wouldn't get
protection,
headline,
or UN. Sorry, but yeah,
right. That wouldn't get a headline though.
No, they would not.
And it's like, but they never until it was too late, tried to get down. Nah, nigga, nah.
Nah, son.
That ain't the way that works. Maybe that's their justification, right? Because we look at it like, they got blonde hair and blue eyes, right? Start running through and helping them out.
They've got good manly beards.
Listen, I don't get it. I don't know.
Oh, man.
But meanwhile, let's beat up on the women and the citizens of the country. Pull back rights and shit. Like, that's weird. Like, that's weird shit.
Well,
that's at least to me, that's very weird. Like, I would think, and I'm not saying that this is necessarily correct, but if we're going to use the terminology that we use in this current era, America has always been somewhat toxically masculine.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's any way that you head the rest of the world without being such.
No, agreed. But
now we're in a situation where I think the people that are in the powers that be are kind of, I don't want to say getting brainwashed by the whole movement.
They're fat and happy. They don't have a reason to change it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's really what it comes down to. It doesn't affect you.
Right.
There's no sense of urgency.
Like, for the first 200 years, America was like the plucky upstart, right? Like, we were the underdog until we started, like, winning wars and shit, or being involved in winning wars and shit, and leading through that crisis. And without a crisis to lead the world through, like, our opportunity to reestablish ourselves as the global superpower was COVID. If we would have been able to help stop COVID in its tracks, or at least not have the effect on American soil the way it did, there would have been faith in our country again. But that was the last, like, global crisis.
You know, I don't think that you're necessarily wrong.
We were not prepared for it, and we did not handle it. And that's where America could have been like, we still got it. And no, we've crumbled just like everyone else did.
Well, see, I don't know, because I think at some point in the, I'm trying not to sound like, so at some point in the level of capitalism that we currently are dealing with, I think that you have people that would sacrifice the way that they're being looked at in order to accomplish more gains.
Yeah.
I don't think that America necessarily dropped the ball with the whole COVID thing so much as I think that it played into their hands as one last grasp before the people wake up.
Yeah, I can see that. I see what you're saying with it.
Right.
I mean, that's
I don't think they did anything wrong. I think they knew this was coming. People wrote books about it that came out 20 years beforehand.
Right.
So you knew exactly what was going to happen. And I think it was a situation where how we do in a day-to-day where it's like, you know, you have a bill coming, but you're going to procrastinate with your money until it comes time to pay that bill. Why? Because I need other shit too.
Yeah.
I can't focus on that bill right now when I have to survive until it comes time to be due.
Right.
And I think that's what happened as a country, where it was like, nah, we're going to sit on our money as long as we can until we see it as an issue.
Yeah. No, I
and you just moved a little too late.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that was the other thing with even going back to our conversations in 2020 about like the decade of 2020s, right? We are in late stage capitalism right now. There is yet to be a form of government, of democracy, of economics that has worked this long or longer. And we're at the tail end of it. And so what's the new economic model?
I mean, like I've been saying for the longest, like like the issue, like it's not like I prefer communism over capitalism by any means, but
no, but
it's like
it's just as dangerous in terms of you have again solidified power at the top.
Right.
So what's the next stage? It is a redistribution of wealth. How you do that redistribution?
Well, see, that's the thing is it's not going to be a redistribution unless motherfuckers make it happen.
Right.
These ain't motherfuckers that are willing to give up what they've had because they've been in that same situation, not only for years, but decades.
Yep.
Some cases, centuries.
Right.
So it's not a situation where anybody's just going to willingly understand that shit's hard for other people. Let's reallocate our funds. Nah, motherfucker, you got to allocate them bitches yourself.
Yep. No, I agree. And you could see, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do think that there are companies that have done that to some extent. Like Microsoft, some of the big tech companies pay their people very, very well.
Still not enough.
Still not enough. I agree.
Still not enough. So I wouldn't ever exclude. See, that's the thing about capitalism is it's like, I don't have to exclude you from the enemy.
Right.
Because you're making the wealth.
Right.
And you haven't done anything with it.
To do anything with it. Yep. No,
so I don't care if you pay your people, everybody on average makes $500,000 a year. Still not enough based on how much you're pulling in.
Right.
So you fall under the same model that these motherfuckers is working on that are paying their people less. You're included as well.
Right, because you're bringing in that much. No, I think that's a fair call out. I think the only places where you can make arguments on that front are places, again, I'll use Microsoft as an example, and this isn't me saying Bill Gates is a good dude, because I think he's shady as fuck.
That nigga tried to buy water.
But he has given away half his wealth multiple times.
But now, see, that's another thing. That's another thing. That seems like something to the people like us.
Right. But he should have never had that much to begin with. I get that.
And it's like, if I know that I'm making it back consistently, the fact that I'm giving away half my wealth, that isn't even an accurate statistic.
Right, because you're making it back and your company's still making hand over fist profit.
Right. You wouldn't be giving away half your wealth if you weren't making it back that fast.
Right.
Now that's the thing. So I don't. And then what is it? Where are you giving it to?
That's the rub, right?
Because if I'm a billionaire, like a multi-billionaire,
I mean, there's the
government don't got shit to do with this. This is going to your Cash App, your area, this is yours.
Right.
You deal with them however you choose to.
Stop giving half your wealth to like these one-off charities. How about you just give half your wealth and evenly distribute it across the country? I don't
understand why not.
Give everybody a $2,500 check or give everybody a $10,000 check.
Now, at the same time, the only issue that I have with that is that some people do need more than others.
Yeah.
And if I'm being as honest as I possibly can, if you think I'm giving away a $25,000 check or a $2,500, whatever the case may be, a check, I need that as well. And let's be honest, I'm in a lot better of a situation than a lot of people are out there. Yeah. So that gets tough too, because it's not a lot of people that's going to pass their money down.
Well, maybe you just redistribute it among anyone below the poverty line.
Makes sense, but you know what that means. If it makes sense, then
it'll never happen. It'll never happen.
Right. You see it every day from your 9 to 5.
Right. True. That's any 9 to 5, I feel like.
No, it is. No, it's not just yours specifically. It is. People get into their whole, their little zone, their little comfort zone.
Completely agree.
And we do as well. But I feel like at some point, what we say, where you got to kick them feet off of.
You got to kick the feet off the table.
Man, get the fucking feet off the table and nut up and make something happen. It's getting nut up time. Fuck a Roe versus Wade. How about the people versus the country?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've come long and far in the judicial system and still haven't gotten the justice that we've seeked out. So at some point, you guys say, fuck this judicial shit.
It's time for a
certain
reboot.
People know it ain't been set up for them in the first place. So they've been operating outside of that for a while now. And what did you say? You better be scared of a motherfucker that's already accepted.
We need the great American reboot. We rebooting everything else. Let's reboot the country. Let's go.
Agree. I agree. We need a
blow up how we handle democracy, make it a true democracy.
See, that's the thing though, is everything's not true to it's all a facade, right?
No
Everything's
doubt.
Not true to what it could
this
be.
This representative democracy in terms of like the electoral college and shit like that. No, fuck it. Blow it all up, start over.
Listen, that ain't gonna be how that works.
No,
and then and then you gotta understand. I wouldn't be against that either, but what that is gonna do is it's gonna cause years worth of war.
Oh, you're probably not wrong.
Because now it's king of the mountain, and we gotta see who can fight to get back up there to make those decisions. And I like I said, I can't say that I'm against that either. I'm not against that. At some point, you got to fight for yours.
Yeah.
At some point, everybody has gone through that in life, whether it be a fight for or a physical altercation. At some point, somebody wants what you have, and it's your job to say, I need it, or you can have that. And right now, the people haven't been putting up enough of a fight for the government to feel like, got him twice, for the government to feel like, oh, we respect that cat. That cat ain't backed up to the wall far enough.
Yeah.
Now, when you see that motherfucking hair stand up now, It's gonna be too late, just like COVID.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna be king of the mountain anyway. So,
well,
but self-destruction is a human trait. You'll ride shit out, even though you know it's not the best idea to ride shit out if you think that's because the best position you can be in.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Absolutely.
And once you're in that situation where you've been on top for centuries, decades, whatever the case may be, we're not in a position of where we can fold.
Well, that's where America needs to get its feet kicked off the table.
Listen,
and
now that's
China
where
might be the one to do it.
Now that's where you question my genius. Was I talking about us, or was I talking about the country? That's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got.
But,
you got anything else, or we want to wrap this one up? I think we've had a good conversation. If you got something else to dive into, I mean, we're only at like an hour 40, but that'd be all right.
Give me some time. Hold on. Give me 30 seconds
all right.
to deliberate with myself, the council of myself.
3 name motherfucker. You got Clifford. You got Montgomery, Jordan. You got 4 people. You got 4 people in there.
Listen, we out here.
We out here. You know, everybody.
It's only 2 of us, so we gotta have names to
like it's the
trick
royal
off.
we.
You know what I'm saying? What is that? Is it the peacock?
The peacock.
No, it's a reptile. I think it's regardless, it's a reptile that unfolds and shows like itself it looks like there are multiple of them, but it's really just the one, and that's their defense mechanism. That's what you get with having 4 names. Nobody's be like, how many people is that? Because I don't want to get jumped today, but it sounds like that might be multiple people. Don't want those problems.
I mean, we've had this talk. There's Mike, there's Michael, and there's Reggie.
Listen, that's why you think about all the African countries that don't have a lot of people there. They're the longest.
To make you think twice.
Right, name long. They like, damn, it's a lot of people in that motherfucker.
It has to be.
Meanwhile, it's 3 tribes of 5. And you like, I'm just playing. I don't got shit, man. I deliberated.
All right. Well, this was a good one to come back to. We'll get back to a little bit more normal of a schedule. Maybe we won't go another month. We'll see what happens.
Nah, that ain't happening. I ain't going nowhere. Listen, me and COVID still fighting, but they ain't gonna beat me, baby.
All right. Well, good shit on that front then. All right. Anything to close out? Going once. Twice.
Love everybody.
There we go. That's a good one.
Unless them motherfuckers try to clip your back when they give you a hug. Leave them shark chasers alone. Leave them fucking chum blockers alone.
Do us a favor, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. We've been off for a couple of weeks, so if you're looking to kind of go back and listen to some old episodes, do that. Hit us up on the podcast. Podcast is the best way. It's also the only one that generates money for us. So
I know that's right.
Do all that. Find us on iTunes, Spotify, all that shit. And with that, peace out, fools.
Love your mothers.